Welcome back. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to work on cards, 4 cards that I'm going to be displaying here that would display statistical information. So what I'm going to do is that here below this title, I'm going to say here cards, and below this I'm going to create first a div. I'm going to say div, and I'm going to give this div a class. I'm going to say class values, and inside I'm going to create a first div. I'm going to say div, and I'm going to give it also a class val box. Box is just going to be a box or card, and inside it I'm going to display icon, and the first icon I'm going to be using a font awesome icon called FA users. Below this icon I'm going to display another div, and for this div I'm going to display statistical information such as a number. Let me here display a number. I'm going to say h3, and then I'm going to display a number. And then below this h3 I'm going to display a span. I'm going to say span, and then for the span I'm going to say users. For example, the number of users. Let me now save and let me head on over to the browser and refresh. And as you can see, this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be displayed. However, we need to work on the design. We need to display it inside a card. And to do this, we have to work on the style.css of that class, of that values class. So I'm going to head on over to CSS, and then in CSS, let's work on the values class. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to say here values, and for the values I'm going to give it padding of 30px top and right, and 0 from the bottom and 30 from the left. Next I'm going to say display flex, and the justify content is going to be space between, and the align items center, and flex wrap. This is for the values. For the box itself, we have values dot value box, val box. For the box itself, the background color would be white. The width would be only 350px. The padding is going to be 16 top and bottom and 20 left and right. This is for the box. However, we need to also add for the box itself, we also need to add border radius and change the display. So I'm going to add here border radius. The border radius is going to be 5px, and the display is going to be flex justify content, flex start, and align items center. I'm going to center the items. Lastly, I'm going to work on the icon. Remember, we have this icon. Let me refresh first to show you how. Let me save and let me refresh. So this is how it's going to look like. Now we need to work on this icon. And for this icon, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say values, value box, I. For each I, we want to change the font. So the font size would be 25px. The width is only 60px. The height is also 60px. However, the line height is also going to be 60px. But the border radius is going to be 50% because I want to display it inside a circle. Let me save and let me show you now how it's going to look like. As you can see, it's going to look like this. However, we need to add text align center, and the color should be white. So I'm going to say color white, and also the text align center. Let me now show you how it's going to look like. As you can see, it's white, but it's not being displayed well because the background is white and it's white. The icon itself is white and the background is white. So this is a problem that we need to fix, and I'm going to be fixing it later because I want the background color to be different than white. Let's also add some margin. I'm going to say margin right 15px. So the margin right is going to be 15px. This is for the color. Let me, for now, just for now, I'm going to use another color. Let me use any color. For now, let's say black. Let's say black for now, just for now. And then later, I'm going to change the background color once when I change the background color of the container. So for now, I'm just going to keep it like this, just for now. So this is for the card. Let's work on the h3. Remember, we have here h3 in the index.html. We have this h3 and we have the span. So for the h3, let me here say values val box h3. I'm going to change the font size. The font size would be 18px and the font weight 600. The span values val box span. The span will have font size of 15px. I want it to be smaller than, I want the span, which is this, to be smaller than the text, smaller than the h3. So I'm going to give it font size 15, and the color is this color, 828997. Let me now save and let me refresh. So as you can see, this is how it's going to look like. This is gonna how it's gonna look like. However, we need to repeat this. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna repeat this. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna copy this card, only the card box, this card, and then I'm gonna paste it here 1, 2, 3 times. And let me now refresh, and we should have four boxes. However, we need to change the background color of each of these boxes. To do this, we can use the nth. Here we can use the nth child. So I'm going to say value here. Here I'm going to say here. I'm going to say values val box nth child 1, the first child, the first I want the background color background color. Let me say here background. The background color, let's use this color. I'm going to be using this 7874EC. Let me refresh. As you can see, this is how it's going to look like. For the second one, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it below, and then I'm going to say here nth child 2. For the second one, I'm going to use this color 5C 8AF0. So this is going to look like this. This is how it's going to look like, as you can see. The third, I'm going to use another color, and the fourth, I'm going to use also another color. So here I'm going to say 2, and then 3, and then 4. So for the third, I'm going to use a background color, this color. I'm going to use this color E 4, 5, D99. The last one, for the last one, I'm gonna use this color 7 for D AEC. Let me now refresh and show you the different colors. So we have these 4 colors. However, we need to change the color now to white. Remember, here we need the color to be white. So I'm going to say here white, and I'm going to refresh. And if I refresh now, the color is white. Let's also change the icons. Here, I'm going to change the icons. So for these icons, and instead of displaying the same exact icon, I'm going to change these icons. So for the second one, instead of saying here users, let's display another icon. So for the second one, let's say here, this is the first, this is the second. So for the second one, let me here say shopping cart. You can get, of course, any icon from Bootstrap if you want. And let's here change the number. And here, let's say orders or products. And then the third one, I'm going to say FA, corn. And I'm going to say salt. And lastly, I'm going to use an icon called FA dollar sign. And you can display any text you want. You can change, of course, the numbers. Let me here refresh, and as you can see, it's going to look like this. But lastly, we need to fix a problem here. We need to say values, not value, values. Here I have a problem. I should say values. Now, if I save and refresh, it's going to fix it. As you can see, it's going to look amazing. So as you can see, this, let me explain this. The display flex is going to let that value box be displayed here, be displayed next to one another, and we'll display the items in the center, and it will be displayed. Flex start is gonna display it from the start. It's gonna be displayed from the start, and the border radius is 5px, which is gonna add here some edges to it. It's gonna soften the edges, I should say. And the padding is 16 top and bottom, and 20 right and left. So from the right and left, there is here 20, and here 16. And that's it. This is pretty much it. And the width is 250. You can decrease or increase this, but 150 I found it to be perfect. As you can see, it's going to fit the screen perfectly, especially because we have 4 cards. So again, in order to create this design, you need to use the display flex along with justify content and the align items.